There is a small decision you repeat every single day without thinking about it. You reach for your blood pressure pill. You take it with water. You move on with your morning. And yet, that exact moment, that exact habit, might be the reason your body is unprotected during the most dangerous hours of your day. Not because your doctor made a mistake, not because your medication is wrong, but because your body does not run on your schedule. It runs on a biological clock that does not care when you drink your coffee. And if your medication timing does not match that clock, there can be a gap. A quiet gap where your protection fades right when your risk rises. Before we go further, you need to understand one thing clearly. I am not telling you to change your medication routine on your own. Timing changes can be helpful for some people, but not for everyone. This is information you use to talk to your doctor, not replace them. Now let me show you something most people never see. Your blood pressure is not stable. It is not one number. It is a pattern that rises and falls every 24 hours. In the middle of the night, while you sleep, your body is supposed to slow down. Your heart rate drops. Your blood vessels relax. Your pressure falls. This drop is not optional. It is how your heart rests. It is how your brain recovers. It is how your blood vessels repair themselves. Then something happens just before you wake up. Around 4 to 6 in the morning, your body prepares you to face the day. Stress hormones begin to rise. Your blood vessels tighten. Your heart starts pumping harder. This is called the morning surge, and it is not a gentle change. It is one of the most aggressive shifts your body makes every day. That is why doctors and researchers have noticed a pattern for decades. Heart attacks, strokes, and sudden cardiac events tend to happen more often in the early morning hours. Not randomly, not by coincidence, but because your body is going through a surge at the exact same time your defenses may be at their lowest. Now think about when most people take their blood pressure medication. Morning. Usually between 7 and 9 a.m., right after waking up, often with breakfast or tea. That seems logical. It is easy to remember. It fits into your routine. But here is the problem. If you take your medication in the morning, it does not instantly protect you. It takes time to absorb. It reaches peak effect hours later, which means your strongest protection often happens in the afternoon, when your body is already relatively stable, and many medications slowly lose their strength over the next 24 hours. So by the time early morning comes again, your levels may be lower, not zero, but lower than they were. And that creates a possibility, a window where your body is facing its most intense pressure changes, with less support than you think. This is where the idea of timing comes in, not as a miracle, but as a strategy to better align medication with your rhythm. Some researchers call this chronotherapy. It simply means adjusting treatment timing based on your biological clock. Instead of asking, "What should I take?" it asks, "When should I take it for maximum effect?" Now here is where things become interesting. Some studies have explored taking certain medications in the evening instead of the morning. The logic is simple. If taken at night, its peak effect may occur during the early morning hours, when your body needs it most. Some findings have suggested improvements in nighttime blood pressure control and overall patterns. Other studies have shown more neutral results. This is important because it tells you something honest. This is not a universal rule. It is not a guaranteed outcome. It depends on the person, their medication, their health condition, their lifestyle. But what is consistent across research is this. Your blood pressure follows a rhythm, and your treatment works best when it respects that rhythm. Now let me tell you about someone who unknowingly lived outside that rhythm for years. His name was Khalid. He was 67 years old, a retired school teacher who woke up before sunrise every day. He had a quiet routine, tea in the morning, a short walk, then sitting outside watching the sky change colors. But over time, something shifted. He started waking up with a heavy feeling in his head, just pressure. His heart felt faster than usual. Not racing wildly, but strong enough that he could feel each beat. By mid-morning, it would fade. By afternoon, he felt normal. At his doctor visits, everything looked fine. His readings were stable, controlled, nothing alarming. So he assumed what many people assume. This is just age. This is just how mornings feel now. So he ignored it, for years, until one day, his daughter asked him a simple question. She asked, "What time do you take your medicine?" He said, "Every morning, after tea." Then she asked, "What time do you feel the worst?" He thought about it. Early morning, before tea. That was the moment something clicked. Not a diagnosis yet, just a question. Could there be a gap? The next week, they did something simple. They measured his blood pressure at different times of the day, morning, afternoon, evening, and what they saw surprised him. His afternoon numbers were fine, but his early morning readings were consistently higher than what the clinic had ever shown, because the clinic never measured him at that time. Your doctor usually sees your blood pressure during the day, so a pattern can exist without being noticed. Khalid took his readings to his doctor. They had a real conversation, not rushed, not assumed. They explored whether adjusting the timing of his medication might help, carefully, with monitoring. Within days, something felt different. His mornings felt lighter. The pressure was less intense. His treatment was finally matching his body's rhythm, and that is the real takeaway here, alignment. But that timing matters more than most people think, because your body is not static. It changes every hour. And when your treatment respects that rhythm, you are no longer fighting your biology, you are working with it. In the next part, I will show you exactly which types of blood pressure medications are sometimes considered for timing adjustments, which ones should never be moved without strict medical supervision, and the subtle signs your body may be giving you every morning that most people ignore. Because once you start paying attention to those signals, you will begin to see your health in a completely different way. Now here is where you need to slow down and pay attention, because this is the part most people get wrong. Not every blood pressure pill behaves the same way in your body, and not every pill should be taken at night. This is where people hear one idea and turn it into a rule, and that is exactly how mistakes happen. Some medications last longer, some wear off faster, some affect your kidneys, some affect your heart rate. And because of that, timing is not just about convenience. It is about how that specific drug interacts with your body while you sleep. There are 3 groups of medications that doctors often think about when discussing timing. The first group works by relaxing your blood vessels. These medications reduce the pressure by making it easier for blood to flow. Examples include ACE inhibitors and ARBs. You may recognize names like lisinopril, ramipril, losartan, or valsartan. These medications often have a steady effect over many hours. And in some cases, taking them in the evening may help better control nighttime and early morning pressure. The second group includes calcium channel blockers. These also relax blood vessels, but through a different pathway. A common example is amlodipine. Some of these medications last long enough that timing may not make a dramatic difference. But in certain people, shifting the dose can still influence how well the morning surge is controlled. Then there is a group you need to be much more careful with: water pills, also called diuretics. These medications help your body remove excess fluid by increasing urination. If you take them right before bed, you are almost guaranteed to wake up multiple times at night. That is not just uncomfortable. For older adults, it can be dangerous. Getting out of bed in the dark, especially when your blood pressure may be lower, increases the risk of falls. And falls at an older age are not minor events. They can change everything. So for these medications, doctors often prefer earlier timing in the day. There is also another category that requires caution: medications that slow your heart rate, like beta blockers. Your heart naturally slows down when you sleep. If a medication also reduces your heart rate, taking it at night may lower it too much in some people. Again, this does not mean it is always wrong. It means it must be personalized. This is why you should never move your medication timing without guidance, because what helps one person can harm another. Now let me show you something even more important than the medication itself: the signals your body has been giving you for years, signals most people ignore. If your blood pressure is not well controlled during the night or early morning, your body often tells you. But it does not use clear language, it uses sensations. If you wake up with a dull pressure at the back of your head, that fades as the morning goes on. That can be a sign your blood pressure is rising early. If your heart feels like it is already working hard before you even get out of bed, that is not just anxiety. It may be your body going through the morning surge. If you feel unusually tired in the morning, even after a full night's sleep, it might not be sleep quality alone. It could be that your body never fully relaxed overnight. Some people notice swelling in their ankles in the morning that improves later in the day. Others wake up multiple times at night without understanding why. Each of these signs alone may not mean much, but together they form a pattern. A pattern that suggests your blood pressure may not be following a healthy rhythm. Now imagine something simple. Instead of guessing, you measure. Not just once a day, not just at the clinic, but at different times. Early morning, before taking your pill, afternoon, evening. You begin to see a curve instead of a single number. That curve tells a story your doctor cannot see during a 10-minute appointment. And that story can guide better decisions. This is exactly what changed everything for Khalid. After adjusting his routine with his doctor's guidance, he did not stop there. He kept tracking, not obsessively, just consistently. And over time, he saw something he had never seen before. His numbers were not just good, they were stable. His mornings no longer spiked the way they used to. His nights felt calmer, and something unexpected happened. His energy improved, not dramatically overnight, but steadily. Because his body was finally getting something it had been missing for years. Rest, true cardiovascular rest. This is something people underestimate. Your heart is not supposed to work at full pressure 24 hours a day. It needs a window where things slow down, where pressure drops, where vessels relax. When that window disappears, your body pays the price over time, not immediately, but gradually. Now, let me give you something practical you can use starting today. Not to change your medication, but to understand your pattern better. For the next 7 days, pay attention to 3 things. First, how you feel when you wake up. Not just good or bad. Notice pressure in your head. Notice your heartbeat. Notice your energy. Second, check your blood pressure at the same time each morning before taking your medication. Do it calmly. Sit for a few minutes, then measure. Third, check it again later in the day, around the same time each afternoon. Now compare. Are your morning numbers consistently higher? Do they feel different from your afternoon readings? If the answer is yes, that is not a conclusion. It is a conversation starter. That is when you speak to your doctor. Not with fear, not with assumptions, but with data. You can say something simple. I have been checking my blood pressure at home, and my morning readings are higher than my afternoon ones. Could my medication timing be part of this? That question alone can change the direction of your care. Because now you are not just following instructions, you are participating in your treatment. There is one more thing you need to understand. Timing is powerful, but it is not everything. You cannot take a pill at the perfect time and ignore everything else. Your body responds to patterns, sleep timing, stress levels, food choices, activity. All of these influence your blood pressure rhythm. If you stay up late every night, your internal clock shifts. If you eat heavy, salty meals before bed, your pressure may stay elevated. If stress follows you into sleep, your body never fully relaxes. Medication can help, but it cannot completely override your habits. This is why the most effective approach is not just changing one thing. It is aligning multiple small things: your medication timing, your sleep schedule, your evening routine. Together, they create an environment where your body can finally return to a healthier rhythm. Now imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning. Instead of feeling pressure, you feel calm. Instead of your heart racing, it feels steady. You stand up and your body feels balanced, not strained. That is not a fantasy. For many people, it is simply the result of better alignment. Not more medication, not stronger medication, just better timing, better awareness, and better communication with your doctor. And that is the real message here. You do not need to guess. You do not need to experiment on your own. You just need to observe, measure, and ask the right questions. Because sometimes the difference between feeling unwell and feeling in control is not what you take. It is when you take it. If this made you think differently about your routine, share it with someone who takes their medication every morning without questioning it. Because the person who needs this information most is often the one who believes everything is already fine. And if you start noticing your mornings more closely from tomorrow, you may begin to see patterns that were always there, just waiting for your attention.